Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel. Today I want to talk about the meanwhile famous tactical survival shooter Escape from Tarkov from Battlestate Games. Today Tarkov is known to a wider audience thanks to all the good streamers like Stylish Noob, Landmark and Pastily for example. Escape from Tarkov is an extraction loot game with hardcore survival elements. Not only the gunplay is unique, furthermore it also includes a complex health system and a managing and trading system. The game includes PvP and PvE battles, unpractice and the arena mode. In Tarkov you have your hideout, your safe spot, from where you are going to each individual map to loot and solve tasks. If you come back successfully, you can keep or sell the items. If you die or get lost because you can't find the right extract point, you will lose everything you carried in the raid. That means your gear, weapons, ammo, healing items and loot stuff, except the less stuff you can put in your alpha pouch. Tarkov is by far not the easiest game to get into it. There isn't a lot of help in the game, and meanwhile many players use the help from the community with extra maps and helping sites with important and explaining informations you may be missed in the game. Tarkov itself doesn't explain a lot and force you to explore the mechanics and systems by your own. With quests and tasks to solve, while going on your raids you are able to level up your character and skills. These features give you some roleplay elements which upgrade the experience massively. For example, you can level up a lot of skills while being in a game with your main character, the PMC, which means Private Military Contractor, formerly known as Mercenary. The PMCs are divided in two factions, Beer from the Russian side and the USAC from the Americans. Each side have their unique gear and abilities, but one of the most important are the scavs, short for scavengers. While your main character is important to proceed in the quests, you can go for looting raids with your scav and even level him up too. While playing as a scav you have to loot in the levels like the PMCs, but without questing. Of course, there are some small tasks to solve with the scavs in some daily challenges, for example, like surviving maps as a scav player. The scavs are characters with randomized loadout you are given and mostly not as well equipped like the biggest part of the PMCs. If you make it out alive, you will get all the stuff your scav had and you found in the raid itself. Scav runs are very important in the beginning of the game, where you can learn the mechanics, maps, and if you fail, you will lose nothing. You only can win stuff. For practicing, there's also a practice mode where you are able to get familiar with the maps, locations and extract. But in this mode you can't keep anything after finishing it. Now the devs implemented a long-wished PvE mode where you can play co-op with your friends or even randoms against the merciless enemies. The AI is of course not perfect like in many other games, but part-time extremely demanding and challenging. While I witnessed a lot of cool AI strategies like flanking maneuvers and pincer movements, sometimes they also have their typical brain blackouts or behaving strange. Normally AI scavs work together, but we witnessed also some strange behaviors of them. On the maps itself there are also bosses which are AI controlled and mostly they are extremely challenging to drop. Each map have their own unique bosses and they will be able to spawn on different locations. In some maps there are also scav raiders, better equipped scav with more firepower and strength. Even the Unity engine is old and of course not the best choice for making an extreme complex hardcore first-person shooter, it still looks great in my opinion. The dark and gritty tone of Tarkov is one of the most appealing facts I like this game so much. You can tell it's the complete opposite of colorful games like Fortnite. The objects you can interact with can barely be differentiated from the details in the levels itself. I really like that, and you need to explore everything in the beginning of the game. Every item is 3D animated and can be watched in the menu and explored with some background information. This reminds me on the old Resident Evil games. You encounter time phases and due to them you will witness one of the most stunning sunrises and sunsets in games, where you get beautiful visuals to see while the color palette is mostly dark and grey and give the game its dirty look. There are also weather effects like wind, fog and rain, and it also looks fantastic and adds a lot of ambience to the atmosphere. And of course it's not only visual, but can also be a negative effect to you while your sight is getting bad and you can't hear your enemies in a downpour. Nonetheless, you can use the weather for your own benefits and hide from enemy view. Even you will witness some very old and ugly textures here and there. The overall visual experience is fantastic and Tarkov brings you enormous detailed graphics, especially in gear and weapons. The audio is a double-edged story.
Granata!
On the one side, you will encounter a fantastic audio experience when it comes to weapon sound, simulation of headphones, headsets, wearing helmets and so on, but you will also get confused by some of the sound bugs, which will irritate you. That means sometimes it sounds like the enemy is directly near you and you think you can track him down, but in real time he's not there at all. When it comes to realistic audio, especially with the speed of sound, games like DayZ and Arma are more authentic in gunfire audio. The Tarkov audio overall is great, even with some of the bugs, and last but not least, the fantastic soundtrack of Gene Burn. The mechanics. One of the best and unique parts in gaming history. The weapons are well simulated and can be disassembled in their core parts. The weapon customization system is one of a kind and exceeds all other games with ease. Depending on the weapon condition, it's also possible to suffer from several weapon malfunction like blocking cases. This can be your end of course in a combat situation, and you need to repair your weapons as well. You have simulated ballistics with bullet drop and a ricochet system. Also the armor and health system. I like these mechanics a lot. In Tarkov you will notice, if you implement tactical attachments with realistic gear, how the weapon behavior changes. And you will have a lot of it. You feel the weight of the weapon, and if you use a long rifle in a narrow corridor, you can't use it properly. So every weapon system has its right to exist. Like Arma and DayZ and a few other simulators, you can also choose from different ammunition, which has more impact like in other games. The ammo decides if you will drop the enemy faster or slower, depending on the opponent's gear like body armor and helmets. Even ricochets can harm or in worst case kill you. Weight is also an important factor. While on your looting tours you will experience the differences between a light gear and a heavy loadout or an overweight backpack with goods in it. The good thing is you can level up your strength and get more stamina over time. If you are injured and suffer from pain, you will witness that in visuals, audio and controls. Shooting with a broken arm while having no painkillers is a unique experience in Tarkov. Or if you have no splint to fix your broken leg and you can only walk over the map, makes you an easy target for your enemies. Therefore it's important to carry meds and bandages with you. For each healing option there are beautiful animations in the game. In your main menu you have merchants and barters. They offer specific items, give you tasks, and you are able to upgrade them to get better offers in their stock. You have 3 different currencies like dollars, rubles and euros, and you can enter a flea market later in the game where you can buy and sell things you need. Either you sell them to normal AI traders or to real players. The chance to get more money from players due to the item's rarity makes it a dynamic stock market of its own. Managing your inventory, where your Tetris skills are asked, are our own minigame for me, and I really like these features. And finally you have your hideout that can be improved over time with the right components and solve tasks. The improvements of your hideout brings a lot of benefits for you, like a bigger stash or faster regeneration times. This point is unique, because I play with an Xbox controller and Tarkov is definitely not meant to be played with a controller. Not only you will have the same speed in aiming with the mouse and keyboard, you will also miss a lot of functions because the controls are very complex. But I'm used to it now and I really love the bindings from the Steam community, even Tarkov isn't available there, thanks to the creator of the layout. The only thing I miss is the rumble feature. Because of the complexity of the game and its controls, I also use mouse and keyboard with my controller too. For example, to navigate through the menus or use the key binding features you don't have on the pad config. This game is recommended to be played with mouse and keyboard. Remind that. Meanwhile, I prefer the PvE mode and I don't play the PvP mode anymore. On the one side, I had some bad situations with cheaters. I mean, come on. This game is already challenging as hell and everyone has the same troubles in surviving. But using cheat modules makes the challenge obsolete and takes the fun for the non-cheaters. This also occurs in other games as well and is never fun for the community. Be hard, but always fair. The other point is the bad connection sometimes and the performance issues the game still has. Overall, Escape from Tarkov is one of my favorite games of all times. Even I'm not the very best player and I will never compete to the real pros, I always love it due to its individual mechanics and systems. This game is unique and one of a kind and I highly recommend it to tactical shooter fans with a high frustration tolerance. If you get into it, you will definitely love it for what it is, and I'm still excited where the journey is going to. Thanks for watching the video and see you next time. Bye bye.
Fucking Ruskies!